edition of the Daily Slab. On the road finally this morning. Took me a while to get going, but finally out here and moving on this fine, dreary Michigan day. What you're seeing here with the gray skies, kind of foggy conditions, this is a very typical Michigan day, especially during the winter. During the winter, I would say that we get this type of day right here 95% of the time. In fact, this year, 2017, I think it was either the month of January or February, I believe we had 2 sunny days. Other than that, it looked like this the entire month, so it can get a little dreary.
Oh yeah.
But today I wanted to talk about kind of a best practice. Once again, this is completely based off of my own personal experience, so everybody's ability to withstand certain temperatures may be different than mine. But today, when I got up, it was about 39 degrees. It's still holding pretty steady right around there. That's probably getting pretty close to my limit of when I'll actually ride. It was reasonably wet this morning. By the time I actually left the house, things had dried up enough where I felt, comfortable enough riding. I don't mind riding when it's wet, but I don't deliberately set out when it's raining unless I have somewhere that I have to be for a ride or something like that. Regardless of what people say about riding in the rain is a little more dangerous, and so I don't always do that. But if I get caught in it, I'll still ride in it, but I don't deliberately try. But I generally try to stay above 35 degrees, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, it's cold, and especially I've had a couple different bikes without windshields, and when you try to ride when it's 35 or higher, or 35 to 40, it gets pretty chilly with no windshield. So you really have to bundle up if you're gonna do that. On a windshield or with the windshield, it's not so bad. You get enough of that windbreak across the chest that you don't feel it near as much. But the second reason why I only ride when it's 35 or higher is frost. If you go out and you have frost all over the windshield of your car, I would highly advise that you don't take the bike out of the garage, because if that frost is all over the windshield of your car, that frost is all over the ground as well, and it can be really slick. I've gotten in a couple of parking lots before. I used to work out early in the morning, and when I would go in to work out, it would be 35 degrees, so I go ahead and ride, and that would have been around 5 in the morning. Well, when I came out of working out at about 6:30, the temperature would have dropped 2 or 3 more degrees, and then it would have begun to frost. So then I'm trying to ride out of the parking lot and slip it all over the place. So, I typically don't do anything over or under 35. So that's just my own personal riding style. I know some guys will ride when it's colder, get the heated suits and everything else, and that's fine. I have no problem with that, and if I had a heated suit, I might consider it as well, but I haven't been able to fork over the funds for that. So I know there's a lot of discussion in various forums, and there has been for years, even before the onset of the internet, the discussion of, on the highway, which lane should you sit in. Some people feel that the left lane is the only place to be. You go faster than traffic and you stay out of trouble. Some people feel the middle lane is safer because the traffic is somewhat slower in that lane. And then others feel that the right lane is the only way to go. There's arguments to be made for every one of those lane choices. For me, I choose whichever lane I feel comfortable in at the moment. For me, the lane choice is completely dependent on conditions and traffic conditions at the moment. There are days that I will ride in that left-hand lane, and I will ride faster than traffic, especially when you get into some of the heavier traffic downtown. I will do that. On other days, I camp out in the middle lane like I'm doing now, and then, you know, I'll also be in the right-hand lane like you see me earlier in the ride. It depends on your comfort level. The thing that I always tell people that are beginning to commute to work is never ride above your comfort level. Always ride where you're comfortable. Don't go faster than you're comfortable going. Don't take a turn faster than you're comfortable going. Now, you need to be reasonably competent on the bike if you're going to get on the highway. If you've just started riding and you've never been on a bike before, I would not advise highway riding for, you know, a couple thousand miles. Get used to the bike, get used to how it feels, get used to how it handles in the turns. I would not advise that you hop on the slab right away. Just because the speeds are much higher, your reaction time needs to be quicker. You need to be more aware of what's going on, and you definitely need to know how the bike handles. So I would definitely advise that for you new riders, you give yourself a little bit of time. That being said, once you do get on the highway, you know, adapt to the conditions that are around you. People, a lot of times, are focused right on the road directly in front of them. I want to look through my windshield and only see the road that's right in front of me. I don't want to think about the traffic that's further down and around or further out from me. But I'll tell you what, when you're riding and you're commuting, actually when you're riding anytime, you need to keep your eyes up and down the road. Don't look at the road directly in front of you. You need to be focused, you know, a quarter mile, half mile, and a mile down the road. And the reason for that, number one, your bike will track where you're looking. So if you're looking down at the ground, your bike's going to constantly be trying to dive into the ground. When you're going around a turn, if you look at the ground, you will crash your bike. So you want to look through that curve and look up where the end point of that curve is. That will help you hold your line, help you hold a nice straight line where you won't be weaving back and forth in the lane. I mean, you obviously need to, you know, monitor for debris in the road, anything that could pop up, but you don't want to focus on that close point of the road. You just want to kind of glance, make sure the road looks clear, and then move your eyes back up again. The other thing that helps you do is that helps you, if you're looking a half mile down the road, it is a lot easier to react to something that you see happening a half mile down the road than you see 100 feet in front of you. And so, especially when you're commuting, you want to keep an eye, look down the road, look between the lanes of traffic, see what is in the road, what's coming up, what the traffic conditions are as you move up to a knot of traffic. One of the big obstructions on highway riding are the semi-tires that have blown and come off. Those are highly dangerous to a motorcycle. I mean, they're bad for a car. They'll damage a car, but they will kill you on a motorcycle. They will kill you. And so you've got to look for that type of debris in the road. And it is, especially when the tire, when it blows, you know, it'll shred that tire and sometimes lay it across all three lanes. So you need to be looking a half mile down, and if you see that, you need to immediately begin focusing on the pass through the debris, because where you look, that's where your tires are going to go. It's just a natural function of riding a motorcycle. So wherever your eyes go, that's where the front wheel is going to head. And so, you know, focus on the path through the debris. Keep in mind on these daily slab logs, everybody's going to have their own opinion about commuting. Once again, I'm just trying to give you my opinion based on the experience that I've had in the area in which I ride. Obviously, conditions are going to be different depending on which state that you're in or which city that you're in. So you'll have to adapt to the conditions where you're at. The main thing is that we want everyone to be safe and everyone to come back home. folks, that's going to just about do it for today's edition of the Daily Slab. I hope you all have a great day, and we will see you in the next episode.